さあ始まりましたインサイダー。我々の生活に日々浸透しつつある AI、 そこにですね、今遅れていると言われている日本の勝ち筋はあるのか、このあたりについてなんとですね、Google で生成 AI チームを立ち上げたジャド・タリフィさんにお話を伺っていきたいと思います。よろしくお願いします。 Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Thank you. ジャドさんは日本に来るわけなんですけれども、日本に移ろうと思った理由っていうのは何なんでしょうか。
So I mentioned that there's two fundamental use cases for AGI. There's actually four, but these two are one way to think about it. They are purely from a hard tech perspective. So one was the digital applications like the assistant. And I felt Google was going to do a very good job there. And the Silicon Valley as a whole is very well positioned to lead in that area. But the other big and arguably much bigger domain is robotics. So physical AI is going to be much bigger than the digital AI. And I felt it was being ignored. And I looked around in Silicon Valley, and there weren't many robotics companies or robotics businesses. And the reason was that the US outsourced manufacturing to China, Mexico. Now it's very popular. But I needed to be able to work with these companies that are building robotics and have a real business in the physical world, so that I can see their pain points, so I can see how AI can actually transform them, and I can actually use the robots in our development. So I needed to understand the ecosystem a lot more deeply, and Japan was the leading country when it comes to the robotics ecosystem. It's about 40 to 50% of the world's industrial robot production are all built in Japan. And when you talk about robotics, it's not just the robot itself, but it's also the sensors, the different parts, the supply chain, and the system integrators, the customers. So it's really an entire ecosystem. So it's very hard to move that. It can, but it takes a long time. So it felt that the right thing for me to do was to engage deeply with the ecosystem that I plan to serve and maybe transform with this technology. Since I thought Japan is a great place anyway, it felt like the right thing is to move here and do the hard thing, like learn Japanese and go through the barriers that a foreigner has to go through coming to Japan. It felt like it's worth the cost of having a deeper understanding and deeper involvement in the robotics ecosystem.
というお話なんですけれども、日本はですね、この AI の開発においては非常に遅れているというふうに言われてまして、大きな AI 企業とかもないわけなんですけれども、その日本にとってのこれからのその AI の環境の中での何か勝ち筋っていうのはあるんでしょうか。
Historically, the earliest convolutional neural network was invented in Japan. A lot of people misattribute it to the ex-chief scientist of Meta, Yann LeCun, but actually it was invented by a Japanese scientist, Fukuyama. So Japan was doing AI for a very long time, but it kind of fell behind because it wasn't investing as aggressively as the Western companies, primarily to the platform change that happened around the internet revolution and then the mobile revolution. Just before the internet revolution, Japan was kind of leading in the electronics department, but then there was two platform change that Japan kind of missed out on, which explains why even though Japan was early in AI and early in robotics, it kind of feels like it's left behind. The good news is that all the existing LLMs are either being commoditified, so they're no longer necessarily a competitive advantage, or they're giving way to a new generation of models that we call world models. So these world models are able to understand all the modalities, not just language, and also generate and plan. They're able to abstract the world, create abstractions, and then you can use that to have the model self-improve. So this new generation of technology that our company is pioneering is a fresh start. So Japan does not need to feel like it's left behind it. There's a new platform change. That's the world models. And what could Japan do is leverage its robotic strength so that it can compete at the international stage. So what I would recommend is a few steps. So the first step is Japan needs to invest in the new generation of foundation models, the world models. Not only our company, but many other startups. So I recommend a diverse portfolio there. The second thing I recommend is that Japan tries to empower its robotics ecosystems. That a lot of these companies are struggling because the margins on the current business is very low. So I recommend empowering the existing robotics companies so that they can take more risk and have more R&D and create new product lines. And then what I recommend is that Japan kind of becomes a little bit more neutral in terms of the competition, global competition. So it's able to make its own independent choices at a geopolitical level so that it becomes more trustworthy as a neutral party at the international stage. Now, what I really believe is that an alliance between the US, especially Silicon Valley, and the ability to bring a lot of compute infrastructure, a lot of the AI algorithms, a lot of the talent there, and a lot of the international market, that's not just US but also Europe, combining the compute and AI from US and then the robotics ecosystem from Japan, I think it's a winning strategy if Japan can leverage that. But it's not something that can happen over the next 5 or 10 years. It actually needs to happen now. So the world is changing now, and Japan has a window of 1 to maybe 2 years at most to seize the opportunity to become the platform leader for the physical AI space. If it does not act now, Japan will seize that opportunity, and just like Toshiba and Sony used to be great companies when it comes to music players, they're no longer. Same thing. Robotics companies in Japan will no longer be the leading companies. And if this happens, Japan will not recover economically because the robotics is the biggest market ever. And whoever wins that market is going to be in a very prominent position. My recommendation for Japan is that the time to act is now, within this year, 2 years maximum. It has to position itself as a platform leader for robotics and AI.
すでにそのジャドさんが日本でいろんな企業とかとそのあたりの戦略については何か話っていうのは進んでるんですか?
Yes, I already talk a lot with several Japanese companies like Denso, Honda, Toyota, Nissan, Mitsui, and there's a strong interest in AI, and they want to move, but I think they are still living in the constraints of history. A startup has more capability to move fast. A large company always has problems to move fast because there's too many people that have to decide, and there's too many vested interests, right? So it's hard to shake the boat. Whereas a startup can move much faster. So I believe that large companies will play a role, but also startups will play an important role, and the government needs to play an important role there as well.
こういう話になると日本はいつもですね決断が遅いと進むのが遅いと言われるわけなんですけれども、政府とかですね日本の大企業早く動くためにはどうすればいいんでしょうかね?
I think moving fast for a big company is a very difficult challenge. Usually what happens is that they need to have an existential risk. So a large being, for example, the most recent example is Google. So Google was not moving fast when it comes to AI. But when OpenAI gave an existential threat to Google had to move fast. They had to kind of transition from kind of a peacetime mode to wartime mode. And similarly, I think Japanese companies, automotive companies, robotics companies need to feel that this is an existential risk. And so the first step is to educate them that this is an existential risk, to tell them there's a train coming and it's gonna, destroy everything unless you take action. And once they know that this is important, I think they move to a different type of operational mindset. At least that's what I expect big companies to do. And also, the job of startups is to provide reliable and feasible path to say, okay, maybe now the Japanese companies, the big companies know it's urgent, but they don't know how. Maybe startups can show a way. This is a way. And so many startups can show many different ways and they can compete. And then the Japanese companies can decide, maybe I like this company's way better than this company's way, and then they can collaborate and accelerate together. From the government perspective, the government is already trying to do grants, but unfortunately, I feel that the grant system is not very. When you give it a grant, you always have to create a lot of paperwork in order to show that the grant that you're giving is not wasting taxpayers' money, right? Because you're using taxpayers' money. So you have to be very responsible and conservative. The problem is conservative is opposite of what you need when you want to take risk. How to assign the grants or to create grants that are enabling more risk and enabling better positioning for Japan in physical AI is a very difficult challenge. I don't think that it's an easy challenge that I can imagine the government can do on its own. So what I would recommend for the government is to consult with researchers. And they're already doing, for example, with the University of Tokyo and also the startups, and try to together define what the government intervention needs to be, what type of grants are kind of useful versus wasteful. So when it comes to the government, I think there needs to be a lot more communication so we can have more intelligently targeted grants.
ここ 1,2 年にチャンスがあるというお話なんですけれども、もしですね、日本がこのチャンスを逃すとどうなってしまうというふうにお考えですか？
大変。So the problem is that Japan does not have strong natural resources. It's a small island country when it comes to land mass, and the population is aging. You know all of that stuff. And it has a lot of debt. It seems to me that the strong point of the Japanese manufacturing, if it goes away, because other companies automate the supply chain and they no longer need Japan, Japan will become more of a museum country, like Italy, where it's very good for tourists because the culture is amazing and the country is very beautiful. But this is not the type of business or lifestyle that matches the ambition of the Japanese people. And I think the young people will be more frustrated and they will generally end up leaving for opportunities outside Japan. So I don't want Japan to be a museum. I think Japan can still contribute meaningfully if it can leverage the opportunity it has right now when it comes to, it has an advantage, but the advantage is going to go away. So the time to act is now. When you have a loss of a big industry, not only you will have economic consequences, but you'll also have a lot of social unrest. You might have a lot more instability internally. You might have a lot more conflict. Maybe many people will blame foreigners. Many people will blame old people. Many people will blame young people for not working hard enough. So everyone will blame everyone else. And that will create conflict and create disharmony in the society. Success always brings people together. If we're all winning, then people are cheering up. But if we're losing, we're all not happy. So I think there will be economic problems, and there will also be social problems.
我々日々も AI を使うチャンスが増えて、そしてAI についても議論を聞くことが増えているわけなんですけども、その個人に限ってみた場合、AGI、汎用人工知能がですね、実現したとして、人間の生活ってどうなるのか、人間に何が求められてくるのかということについてはどうですか？
So the role of human beings.
role of human beings.
Yes. We will always be at the position of a driver, and whether the driver is actively paying attention versus just feeling and deciding what they want, that is a necessary role. AI can decide, of course, but the way we've been designing AI is that it has a strong component of compassion. So what it seeks to satisfy the well-being of the user. And because it's trying to satisfy the well-being of the user, it needs to know what the user wants, right? So the human will always be in the driver's seat of their own life. And by doing that, we actually give meaning to AI. The example that I like to give is, I don't have children yet, but when I meet parents, they say their children give their life meaning. Because even though their children is not as smart as they are, and they don't decide everything, but they are so important. And the job of the parent is to take care of the children and to love the children. And similarly, I think the AI will be there to support us and take care of us. And I feel we end up doing a lot more than we do now. A lot of people right now spend most of their day in jobs they don't like. I like my job, so I don't complain, but I feel so sad for so many people working in jobs they don't like, doing things that they don't feel matches them in order just to make money and survive. Now with AI, we're able to move to a paradigm where these people can actually go internally, find what they really want, and pursue what their true heart desire is. I feel that humans will be the creators of meaning through being closer to what I call an artist than a worker or a machine, right?
でも今のお話は、ある人にとってはですね、非常に楽観的なお話じゃないかと。 AI の来た未来について結構心配してる人って多いと思うんですけども、その悲観的なシナリオに関してはジャドさんはどういうふうにご覧になっているんですか？
So the reason I want to give the optimistic scenario is we need to know where we want to go in order to go there. It's not enough to say what I don't want. It's important to also have a positive vision for the future, because the future is open-ended. Unless we know where we want to go, we're not going to get there. So I care a lot about painting a positive vision. But to complement that, we need to understand the risks. And there's a lot of risks for AI. In fact, in my book series, I identify those risks, right? So there are several categories, and I would start with the most kind of science fiction one, AI becoming another life form, and the other life form compete with us, and then they will destroy us. Is that a risk? Yes. It is a risk if we develop AI incorrectly. If we develop AI with the wrong value system, then this is possible, right? That's not the AI I'm developing, and that's not the AI we should be investing in. And as long as the AI that is with the right value system is invested more in, and we invest more in that AI, and we develop the AI first, that AI will control the other AI, so we don't have to worry about that part as much. So we have to be careful to design AI that's trying to empower humanity as opposed to compete with humanity. That's a very simple existential risk. The other risk that people worry about is jobs, right? What happens when AI automates all the economy, how people are going to find income. And I think that's a very valid risk. And we definitely need to change the economic system to adjust for that. So one idea is to do something called basic income. With basic income, everybody gets financial benefit, but there's a problem with that, is that it just creates inflation. And all the revenue actually ends up going to the landowners and the owners of scarce properties, like intellectual property and so on. So it doesn't really solve the problem. In order to solve the problem, I propose a system called the alignment economy, where the AI itself measures the price of various actions, and these prices can be negative or positive. So a positive price means something costs something. A negative price means that you get rewarded for doing something. So in the alignment economy, you get rewarded for sleeping well. You get rewarded for taking care of your health. So all these rewards are like a basic income that you're getting for very basic things in your life. And the other side, where we calculate the alignment price for various actions, that accounts for the inflation, that fixes the inflation issue, and it also fixes the scarcity issue. So it gives us a very clean system for how to organize ourselves in a post-AGI world. The alignment economy can do that, and we can approximate that iteratively over time. This is an important class of risk, I think. Third class of risk is AI that's not really trying to compete with us, but it's not perfectly aligned well. That it's trying to kind of exploit us, just like the Facebook feed, right? If the AI is trying to extract resources from you by manipulating your attention, by doing some advertisement and so on, I think that's the wrong incentive for AI. And so we need to have a proper aligned design AI. And the alignment economy actually helps with that. So if you design AI properly, you give it the goal to empower human agency, empower human freedom, and then you assign prices for the various actions that the AI can take on your behalf. And in that world, you have an alignment economy, and then you can fix all the problems that I mentioned. I don't guarantee that this will be the world that we're going to go to, but if we don't go to this world, I guarantee there will be problems. So this is the only positive vision that I can see. And if we go to that world, the other side is so good. Not only will everyone will have enough to survive, but also to thrive. Everyone will be, as if they're very rich. Everyone will be very healthy, will have access, will have independence, will have free time, freedom, all of that. So it's a really almost utopic vision for society. But if we don't get there, there will be a lot of problems. So we should really focus on getting there. And I'm trying to start step by step, slowly communicate about that, explain to people about that. We started about a year ago, but it's step by step, and I think we're accelerating now.
その鍵としておっしゃってるアライメントっていうことについてもうちょっと詳しくどういう概念なのか教えてもらえますでしょうか。
So alignment is just an English word that means when two things are aligned, it means they're synchronized. When they're misaligned, that means they're moving in different direction, right? So alignment is about co-movement, right? Or coordination, co-synchronization. When it comes to AI, when we talk about alignment, we talk about AI that is co-synchronized or aligned with human values or human well-being. Now, what does the alignment economy mean, right? So the alignment economy is all about defining alignment very precisely. And the way we define alignment in the alignment economy is maximization of collective agency. So an AI is trying to maximize collective agency or collective freedom, which involves maximization of knowledge, benevolence, power, and vitality for everyone. When the AI is explicitly trying to maximize that, it actually needs to communicate with people in order to fill in the details that it needs to optimize for. So you get compassionate AI as a result. So the alignment economy is when an AI is trying to optimize for collective freedom or collective agency. It's going to assign prices for various actions. So let's say I want to build a house. I just want a house, right? It's going to cost, in the current economy, you just go to a house company and they charge. The AI will actually calculate what is the impact of building that house, getting the raw material, the energy, the land, other people want the land maybe, all that, the impact that it has to create that thing, it will calculate it. And that will be the cost, right? And then I will also get paid because, living in a house is actually very good for me, right? And so by living in a house, I'm improving the collective freedom for the world. If I go to the gym, if I eat healthy, I will also get paid. So I will be able to get paid in any activity that improves my well-being, but also get paid if I, for example, take care of a child, if I take care of a friend. All of these things are currently not being accounted for in the economy. Why? These things are very important. And if we don't do them, we end up paying for them anyway. The healthcare system pays for them. The emergency system takes care of them. So society already pays for these things when we don't do them. So we should be paid when we do them, right? So just better accounting, simply. Alignment economy is just better accounting of everything that you're doing. That's how you get paid. If something does not decrease collective freedom, it should be free. You shouldn't be paying for it. However, some things are fundamentally scarce. So you have it means someone else doesn't have it. Those should have a cost. And the cost should be proportional to how much it's taking away from collective freedom. In the traditional supply and demand in the market, there's a problem called externalities. Economic externalities means that, for example, we don't pay for pollution. Companies don't pay when they pollute the environment. Facebook does not pay when it pollutes your attention. So Facebook is polluting your attention because it's hijacking your attention system and makes you unhappy, you don't sleep well. In the alignment economy, they would pay for that because that is decreasing the collective freedom. Polluting the environment is decreasing collective freedom for nature and for humanity. So the alignment economy is just a much better accounting system that happens under two criteria. One criteria is we know what we want, and what we want is increasing freedom, is alignment with collective agency. Second, that you have AGI or superintelligence that's able to do these calculations, that are able to do these accounting systems. And just so I don't confuse people, the calculation is not like you write down, I did this, I did that. It's actually done statistically. So you have a model that estimates the price as a function of the world state. So you take in the world state, the action, and then you estimate the price. And it's a neural network, so it's an AI model itself. By that technology that AI enables, the ability to calculate these prices, plus the ability to have a common goal, is what we call the alignment economy.
個人的にはですね、その人間がこう欲望なり活動なりで生み出すこのデータっていうのを、所有権をこう人間が持っていた方がいいと。でないとその、AI だったりその資本との力関係で、人間がこう後ろに回されてしまうという考えもあるんですけれども、それに関して何かジャズさん考えるところありますか？
Yes, so this is a classic platform question. One idea is that everybody owns their data, and then we kind of rent it out to a platform, and that platform then give us some income as a result.
Yeah.
The problem with that model is that a lot of data is not valuable. So you're going to end up with a situation where many people, they don't get any income, and some people get a lot of income, or some people get and to me, the solution that people came up with this is, okay, we're going to make a free model. We're going to take your data, but then we're going to give you the service for free. This is the Google model, right? And then we can monetize from ads. This model worked very well in the age of the internet. But for the age of AGI, I think we need a better model. And the better model is the alignment economy. So when you're contributing data that is valuable to the AI should be able to reward you directly and pay directly for that. But also, you should be able to get rewarded for anything that is taking care of your health or the health of other people, or improving the well-being. Any decision that improves the well-being of society should be considered valuable by AI. So to me, I feel like it's part of a bigger puzzle, which is the alignment economy puzzle. But the idea that AI needs every single data is not really correct. It might have been the case in LLMs, where LLMs are very data hungry, they need a lot of data. But the next generation of AI does not need a lot of data. So we cannot rely on that as the only source of economic relief. I'd rather build the entire alignment economy because I want everybody to be included. I don't want only a few people who own the capital to be included.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. ということで最後までご視聴いただきましてありがとうございました。ぜひこのチャンネルいいと思った方はチャンネル登録、そしてですね高評価、さらには今日のお話に対するコメントもですねコメント欄までどうぞよろしくお願いいたします。